For decades, Iran has struggled to modernize its air force. With an aging fleet and regional rivals flying cutting-edge jets, Tehran now looks east, towards China. Could Iran be on the verge of acquiring advanced Chinese fighter aircraft? And what would this mean for the Middle East and the world? Before the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iran, under the Shah, was a premier customer for American military hardware. The subsequent severing of ties with the West and the imposition of crippling sanctions meant that Iran was cut off from spare parts, upgrades, and new aircraft acquisitions. Today, the IRIAF's inventory is a patchwork of aging platforms. Iran's once formidable fleet has turned into a relic of the past, with most aircraft over 40 years old. Keeping these aircraft airworthy is a monumental task, relying on reverse engineering, cannibalizing parts from grounded planes, and developing indigenous components. For years, Iran's hopes for Air Force modernization were pinned on Russia. The Sukhoi Su-35 was seen as the ideal solution, a highly maneuverable 4.5-generation fighter. Tehran and Moscow engaged in protracted negotiations, and by early 2023, Iranian officials were confidently announcing that a deal for the Su-35 was finalized. However, the promised delivery never materialized. Russia's own air force has suffered significant losses in Ukraine, creating a pressing need to retain its own advanced aircraft. The prospect of Iran acquiring a top-tier Russian fighter was a red line for Israel. It is highly probable that Israel used its diplomatic channels to convey deep concerns to the Kremlin. The failure of the Su-35 deal was a significant setback for Tehran. Tehran's reliance on Russia proved costly. With deliveries stalled, Iran was forced to look elsewhere. This disappointment forced a strategic pivot. With the Russian door seemingly closed, Iran had to look elsewhere, toward the People's Republic of China. Frustrated by the Russian setback, Iran has turned its focus to China's Chengdu J-10C, also known as the Vigorous Dragon. The J-10C could be a game-changer, affordable, modern, and combat-proven. This aircraft represents a compelling alternative. The J-10C is a modern single-engine multi-role fighter, often compared in capability to the latest versions of the American F-16. Its AESA radar and PL-15 missiles would, for the first time, give Iranian pilots the ability to engage targets from beyond visual range with a high degree of confidence. The attractiveness of the J-10C is enhanced by its combat-proven status. Pakistan has already acquired the J-10CE and integrated it into its air force, providing Iran with a valuable case study. The J-10C would represent a quantum leap over anything currently in the IRIAF's inventory. As a single-engine fighter, its operational costs are significantly lower than the twin-engine Russian jet. This capability would fundamentally change aerial combat dynamics in the Persian Gulf, effectively ending the era of uncontested air superiority that Iran's rivals have long enjoyed. A potential sale places China in a delicate geopolitical position. Beijing has carefully cultivated relationships throughout the Middle East, becoming the largest trading partner for many Gulf Arab states. Selling advanced jets to Iran is not just a military deal, it's a geopolitical gamble for Beijing. The reaction from the United States and Israel would be swift and severe. For Israel, the prospect of Iranian pilots flying jets equipped with AESA radars and long-range missiles is a nightmare scenario, directly threatening the Israeli homeland. The sale would likely spur a new wave of arms purchases by Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Israel, who would seek even more advanced systems to maintain their edge. The deal may depend less on technology and more on money, and geopolitics. Iran remains under heavy US sanctions, making conventional payment virtually impossible. While Iran and China have engaged in oil-for-goods barter arrangements, a multi-billion-dollar fighter jet deal is of a totally different magnitude. Even with new jets, Iran would face an uphill battle against Israel's F-35S and Gulf F-15S. But perception itself could alter the balance of power. Whether the Vigorous Dragon ever flies in Iranian colors is yet to be seen. The final decision will have profound implications for security and stability in the Middle East. Iran's pursuit of Chinese fighter jets is about more than aircraft. It's about survival, prestige, and the shifting alliances of a changing world. One thing is certain, the skies of the Middle East may never look the same again.